Good morning, ladybugs. Happy Thursday. And today I'm going to read, I'm not going to really read the whole thing, but I'm going to try to show you the pictures more and tell you a little bit about Frida Kahlo, the artist that we're doing today. And then I'm going to do an oil pastel picture of her for you, and then maybe you can do it at home, okay? And you can learn a little bit about her. Right now, I'm in an upstairs room in my house, and the walls are painted like a really pretty deep orange. And if you went through my house, you could find that I really like color. So pretty much almost every room in my house is painted a different color because I just really love all kinds of color. This used to be a bedroom, but now that my kids are gone, it's a toy room. We call it the toy room because over here I have a whole bunch of toys that they can come and play with and hopefully not get in trouble. But on this wall, you can't see the whole thing. I tried to make the camera so you could. I have a lot of beautiful art that I have found when I go to an art show, or if I go to the Legion of Honor Museum or the DeYoung Museum in San Francisco, which you guys can go to, not right now, but later. And so I put it on the wall, and I hope it inspires my grandkids when they come over. If they want to draw or paint or whatever, they can look at all this beautiful art on the wall and say, wow, I'd like to draw a picture like that. And I don't have just like very famous artists on there. I also collect pictures and postcards. And if I just like a picture, sometimes this was a card and I cut it out and I just got a frame for it. So you guys can do that. You can find a picture or something that you like, and then you can get a frame and put it in your room or someplace where you can look at it and you can be inspired by it. This is one of my favorites, and I liked it because of the frame, but I also like it because it's a picture of a mountain that I went to in Patagonia, and it's called the Fitzroy Mountain, and it's a very famous mountain. So when I was down there, I found this picture of it, and then I really liked the frame. Do you see all the colors in the frame and the beautiful patterns and things? I think that's really cool. So anyway, let's find out a little bit more about Frida Kahlo, and I'm going to read this book here called Me, Frida. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see. And this is a picture of her. Do you notice something about her eyebrows? Right over her eyes. Do you notice something about them? Well, they're pretty thick. She had beautiful thick hair, and she had beautiful big eyebrows. And some people, if their eyebrows kind of grow together, which they call a unibrow, some people don't like that hair right there and they get rid of it. But she liked it. That was a unique part of her, and she wanted to keep that. So she left it there. And today, in honor of Frida Kahlo, I've put a little more eyebrow pencil on than usual. So let's find out about her. One reason I love Frida Kahlo is I love all her colors. Do you see a lot of bright colors? Now some artists use pastels, like we made when we did our shamrock, and we added white, and we made a very light colors, and light colors are beautiful, but Frida Kahlo liked big, dark colors. She lived in Mexico, which is the country right below us, and she met her husband, Diego Rivera, there, and he was an artist too. And he got invited to San Francisco, which is right near our house. She packed a blue trunk, and she and Diego flew north Frida had never left Mexico before. Soon they were standing in the very city she'd painted. Diego, big as an elephant, Frida, a lovely little bird, on his arm. They lived at 716 Montgomery Street in San Francisco. And there they are. They drank coffee and ate sliced oranges. The world was cool and gray. When we have the weather that's cool and gray, what kind of weather is that? Is that fog? Frida felt very, very, very far away from home, though. Diego was working on a mural for the city. While he sketched, Frida was restless. Sometimes she would get her guitar out and sing Mexican folk songs. Before Diego began painting, he wanted to study his subject. Just like with Miss Carla said yesterday when she picked her flower for her Georgia O'Keeffe painting, I remember her saying she really, really looked at it. She looked at it for a long time. And she looked at how big was it and what was inside that flower, what kind of lines. And then she took her time and she painted it or colored it. They climbed up and down the many steep hills in San Francisco. And I'm sure you guys have been there. Maybe you've even been on a cable car and gone up and down those hills. Diego thought they were great, like ancient ruins. But Frida disagreed. So she was feeling a little homesick and lonely for her home in Mexico. They explored the redwood trees and orchards, a gold mine. Diego felt empowered by everything he saw. Frida just fell asleep on the way home. And then, with a team of assistants, Diego went to work painting entire city walls. Some nights he didn't come home at all. And do you see him working there with his artist palette? On the long days without Diego, Frida felt lost. She was in a foreign city. She didn't speak much English. She spoke Spanish. And she didn't have very many friends. So she started exploring San Francisco on her own. She wandered through the narrow street markets. She touched pretty birds in tiny ornate cages. She searched in little shops for silk to make skirt. She admired the babies. She especially loved Chinatown. It smelled like incense, fish, and fog. Soon, Frida felt bolder and she rode on a streetcar. She took a ferry across the Golden Gate and walked in the green headlands above the ocean. And that's a place that I like to go hiking, and it's called Mount Tamalpais. And you can take a ferry there, not for a while, but maybe in a couple months, and you can get off in Sausalito or Larkspur, and then you can go and hike and explore around there. From there, she could see the entire glittering city and all it held, including Diego. For once, Frida felt larger than life. Me, Frida, she said. She felt like she could fly. She went back to Montgomery Street where they lived and painted. She knew she was an artist too. While Diego painted a monumental mural about town, Frida painted small little portraits at home. And portraits is a picture. There's pictures of people, right? So we're going to make like a self-portrait after this book. And you guys all know how to do that, right? The local press called Frida's portraits passable or good enough. Good enough was not good enough for Frida. She wanted to be great. And one night they went to a party and all eyes were on her husband, Diego Rivera, because he was a little more famous artist than she was at the time. Frida stood quietly by his side, but she could hardly contain herself. She thought the Americans' faces resembled dough. She missed Mexico, and she was tired of being quiet. She wasn't getting a lot of attention. Suddenly, Frida began to sing, not just any song, but the Mexican folk song she sang to Diego while he worked. Now all eyes were on her, including Diego's. So everybody liked her singing there. That night, Frida painted something great, a colorful wedding portrait of herself and Diego. She painted Diego big, and she painted herself small. That's how she thought the world saw them. But Frida knew she was more than this, and she put herself first. In the beak of a pink bird, she wrote a tiny note on violet ribbon. Here you see us, me, Frida Kahlo, with my adored husband Diego Rivera. I painted these portraits in the beautiful city of San Francisco, California, in April of 1931. Wow, well, we're in the month of April now. It's the day after April Fool's Day, but 1931, wow, that was almost 100 years ago because it's 2020 now, right? I think I almost thought it was 2021. Frida's painting, Frida and Diego Rivera, was featured in the 6th annual exhibition of the San Francisco Society of Women Artists. It was her first show. She was in her best dress and lots of necklaces, and she walked proudly through the crowd. When people saw her, they stopped and stared at her in wonder. So she dressed the way she wanted to, and maybe she dressed a little bit differently than some of the other people dressed at that time. And in Mexico, I think she was used to wearing very bright colors and maybe some colorful skirts and things on her head. Oh, and here, I don't know if you can see it, but right here is the picture, the wedding portrait that she painted of herself and Diego Rivera. I really like that book, and I really like this artist, Frida Kahlo. I'm going to put her right there. So what her husband did in San Francisco is he painted a mural, and it's in Coit Tower, and I've been there many times. You can go to San Francisco and you can climb up some really steep steps. You could even take the train and then walk up there, which I've done many times. Now you can't go right now, but I can't really go anywhere right now. But these are things that you can do maybe, hopefully in the summertime. So you can go to Coit Tower and you can see her husband, Diego Rivera. You can see his mural, which is in a circle. You go around and it tells us a really fun, well, it's not a fun story, but it's a story. It tells a story. It's a mural that tells a story, okay? And I actually have a big picture. I have a print, and I'm going to kind of get it out like here. See if you can see. This is a print by Diego Rivera, and the reason I got this one is because when I was little, probably just about your age, I was 4 or 5, and above our couch, it wasn't this print, but this print of him, it's a man kind of, he's holding, what's he holding in the basket? He's holding some flowers, and he's kind of crawling because the flowers are heavy, I guess. I never really thought about why he's crawling, or maybe he's not crawling. Maybe, you know what I think it is? I think his wife maybe is adjusting the basket on his back, and then maybe he's going to stand up, and maybe he's not even a man. Maybe he, looking at the size of her, maybe he's her son. So that's how much I've looked at the picture all my life. But I have looked at this picture when I was little, and my brother and sister and I really liked it. I'm not sure what ever happened to it, but that's why I wanted to get it again, because when I was little, I saw it, and I really liked it. So let me put that right back there. And then I'm just going to do this on white paper. And I think I am going to sit down because it's kind of hard if you sit on your knees for a long time. So hopefully you can see it if I kind of put it up there. So If I was at school, I would have taken a black and white picture of you, and Miss Lori would have blown it up to the size, and then you could color it with colored pencils and put some flowers on it. But I don't actually have a printer here, and Miss Lori's not here to help me, and Bruno. Do you know that Bruno actually does help Miss Lori in the office? Next time you see her, you can ask her and she will tell you yes. So I've got my picture, I've got my oil pastels. So I'm gonna make a self-portrait because I don't have a picture. So I'm gonna choose a color that I think is kind of the color of my skin. If I'm going to make a self-portrait, what shape do I need to make first, right? My face. So kind of like a circle, but some people think it might be more like an oval. There's my face with nothing on it. All right, so now I'm gonna make my eyes. My eyes are blue, so I'm choosing my blue crayon. How many eyes do I have? 2. So I'm gonna make 2 eyes. Okay, and then I think for my nose I'll make it a little bit darker. Is that the same color? Yeah, that's the same color. All right, so let's make it a little bit darker. I'm just gonna make a little nose. There's a lot of different ways to make noses. You can even make like a dot or something like that. And then I'm gonna make my mouth. Here's a nice red color. And I'm gonna be smiling. Okay, but I'm missing some things here, right? I'm missing my ears. We all know we all have 2 ears. Does that look like me yet? Not quite, right? I have to add, I'm gonna add eyebrows because, like I said, Frida Kahlo, she had nice dark eyebrows, which I don't have anymore, but I can pretend. And remember, she had really big eyebrows. So if I was having you do this at school, I would have you make really big eyebrows, almost touching in the middle there. All right, well that's a big brow there. All right, but I still don't look like myself. What am I missing? What's missing? Well, hair, right? Now Frida Kahlo, she had like dark, beautiful hair. I have light hair, which is kind of hard to see, but maybe this will show you. Okay, so now I'm going to add my hair here. Okay, so let's just add lots of hair, and maybe that'll start to look a little bit more like Miss Patrice. Although at this point it's not really looking like me. Yeah, maybe make the hair a little bit longer. Oh, I can't wait to see your self-portrait, and make sure you make your eyebrows really big like Frida Kahlo. Oh, a little more hair here. We're getting there. We're getting there. My kitty cat likes my drawing. You like that, Benno? All right, so now this is my self-portrait. I guess I could add some eyelashes, which is always fun. Take a black crayon and I'll put some eyelashes there. There we go. Well, starting to look a little bit more. Maybe I'll make my mouth a little bit bigger. Kind of a thin mouth. All right, so there's my self-portrait like Frida Kahlo, but I'm going to add something fun to it. Let's see if I can make it stick there. I'm going to get some flowers. I've got some flowers here, and these, so if we were at school, I would have some flowers that I bought for you to put on your self-portrait, because Frida Kahlo liked to wear flowers and things in her hair. Like I said, she liked the bright colors. So we're not at school. Maybe you could use a real flower or something, and you could put that on there. So I think I'll put like a little glue there. I'll put that purple flower there, and I've got a nice pink flower with the pretty jewel. You could put jewels. Some of you have a nice collection of jewels. You could put jewels on your head. Remember the paper flower, the tissue flower you made with Miss Carla the other day? Usually when we hang these up in the classroom, we have our Frida Kahlo and then our flowers here, and then our tissue paper flowers that I staple up over there, which is fun. I have one more flower. This kind of reminds me of a zebra, like my zebra up there. And doesn't that kind of look like a zebra flower? So I think I'm going to do one more flower here. But like I said, you can go outside, and there we go. We have my Frida Kahlo portrait. I hope you like that, ladybugs. Tomorrow, when we have our meetings, like Miss Carla had said in the email, bring whatever art you've done, like maybe your Roy Lichtenstein and your big action word, if you did that one. Or maybe today, maybe you were inspired today by by this beautiful portrait that I did of myself with flowers, by Frida Kahlo. And also bring something that you can make noise with, like some kind of instrument. I thought at the end of the meeting tomorrow we could maybe just sing a simple song and play the music. So thank you, ladybugs. I hope you have a nice day. The weather's really nice, and I hope you got inspired by Frida Kahlo and her book, and maybe all the beautiful paintings that you see. Okay? All right. I'm going to turn off the video now, so I have to kind of crawl around.